What is the worst thing you've overheard while pretending to be asleep? My father telling my mother that sometimes he just wanted to kill me. I was 5 years old when I overheard this. Being that my dad was an alcoholic and full of rage, I believed him and lived my entire childhood believing he was going to kill me. Freshman college roommate watching porn on his laptop wearing headphones, humping his mattress like there's no tomorrow. That I was dying with meningitis, but jokes on the doctors, I'm still kicking. My grandparents won $10,000 at the casino, and they told all of their children, and presumably gave him some of that money, except my dad. My dad is a dick, so I didn't tell him either. My friends, talking about going into my wallet later and steal my money, and then leave before I notice, I kicked them out. No wonder people at school think he's gay. My stepmom. My older brother in the next room when he snuck a girl in. They had sex for about a minute and then I could hear him apologizing for about 20. May not be the worst ever, but it's definitely the funniest. Probably the funniest was on a camping trip with the boys. I have sleep apnea and use a CPAP machine. I overheard a couple of my mates talking about smoking a joint and hotboxing me through the air intake of my CPAP machine. Probably my dad's dementia screaming. Usually nothing is wrong, but he'll wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning to yell at God and grind his teeth. You never do get used to it. My mom's boyfriend sloppily trying to flock my mom all drunk as shit whilst we're all sharing the same flocking hotel room. I was 13. You can come on my tits or my belly but not inside me. This was coming from the top bunk. I was on the bottom bunk. I snuck out and went somewhere else. Not me, but my wife heard her boyfriend having sex with her best friend. This was obviously long before we met. My mom and aunt talking, thinking 10-year-old me was asleep. Aunt, little runs _n_ gosses is so cute. Mom, no, he's not very good looking at all. My mom having an affair with her fiancé's best friend, who was married. In the same room that I was sleeping in. I was like 10 years old. Edit. Spelling. I was a camp counselor. 2 girls very much liked to make hot or not lists. One of them suggested a male counselor was hot, and the other said he was saying mean things about me behind my back, which made him not hot. Hurt to hear that from my campers, but glad they supported me. When I was a wee tot, I pretended to be asleep in the family room so I wouldn't have to actually go to bed, and once my parents were distracted, I could keep watching TV. I then got to hear my dad proposition my mom for couch sex. It's been many years so I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, hop on pop. My sister's soon-to-be fiancé wanking while saying her name. My family were staying at a friend's house and had to share a room. My dad comes to bed hammered and says to my mom something along the lines of, does it impress you that I'm this drunk and can still perform? I actually wanted to die. The person in the bunk under me beating his dick like it owed him money. Something like, she's too old for this. I'm not going to carry her up to bed anymore. And that was the last time I was magically transported from the living room couch to my bedroom. My roommate's one night stand dismount because his dick was hitting her bladder, and she waddled off for a piss before getting back on top. My roommate and her FWB having loud, dirty talk sex. I just had my wisdom teeth out and I think they assumed I was passed out on pain meds. My sister got drunk and I heard a loud thud and she blacked out. 2 of her friends and my mom and dad were shouting at each other and they were saying to shut up cause they didn't want to wake me up and they were all crying thinking she was dead and I couldn't tell my sister I was happy she didn't die. Now I appreciate seeing her every week. My then boyfriend opening up our bedroom door to show me off to his friends while I was sleeping. It was the middle of summer so I was lying butt naked on our bed. He thought I was asleep. Huge fight occurred the next morning and we were not dating for long after that event. WTF man. I'm still pissed off about that. You know I was naked. My dad and stepmom was having a foursome with a couple of their friends. We were at a summer house and they did it in the living room. I felt so uncomfortable eating breakfast the next day. My parents discussing whether or not I was gay, and exploring where they went wrong with raising me. Too many hugs. Edit. This really blew up and I've got a lot of people wondering whether or not I'm gay. For the record, I am straight and have had sex with a bunch of girls. Take that mom and dad. Parents talking about plans for when they were going to have sex. Old roommates planning to kick me out. On a class trip, I heard a girl talk badly about me to the other girls in my room, saying I was a retard and too dumb to stand up for myself. She said the only reason she didn't bully me out of this school was because she needed me to help her with my homework. Then my best friend stood up for me. She said that I wasn't dumb and just a bit shy, and then told her to F*** off. Well, my friends sucking each other's dick, they were 16 feet. My Airbnb host having loud sex right outside my door. When I was around 8 years old I was supposed to be asleep but I snuck downstairs to get milk or something. I heard talking going on downstairs so I stood still and listened. My mom was talking to my brother about how much a problem I was and how she hated me. She always liked my brother more. I just silently crept back upstairs and cried myself to sleep. Good times. When I was like 10 or 11 I visited my dad and while we were watching a movie I tried to fall asleep and I proceeded to hear him flock his GF on the bed I was trying to sleep on. When I woke up all I saw was clothes on the floor. I don't know why I didn't just get up and leave but at least I fell asleep before it really started. Before I got divorced. Was laying in bed late, 11 a.m. or so, on my day off, after a long string of I think 10 or so workdays in a row. My ex, who refused to get a job, was in the next room playing a video game, and I heard him say, that motherflocking bitch is still sleeping. Had a bunk bed in college and one night my girlfriend and I woke up to my roommate banging some chick on the top bunk. My girlfriend asked me what we should do and I just mumbled, just go back to sleep, because I figured saying something to them at the moment would make things much more awkward. He still doesn't know. Neighbor guy walking through the house with a couple of his friends showing them how we leave stuff laying around all the time and it was easy to steal things from us without us knowing. My mom and stepdad talking mad shit about me. I was in high school and needed to start seeing the counselor for mental health issues. My parents were essentially making fun of me, saying that I wanted attention and started mocking my voice saying, "No one understands me. I am so mistreated." Not the worst thing, just reminded me of the time I shared a hotel room with my grandfather in AC and he got up in the middle of the night to pee as oldies do and before he went back to sleep he said a prayer out loud for his late wife. Still gets me every time. Roommate getting a blowjob. The worst part was when I heard him say, "I'm gonna come." Legit wanted to die. Come on, he's asleep. Okay, fine, I'll do it, but how do I suck it? Like just let it go in your mouth and stroke it with your tongue. Well, I'll try. Oh yeah, choking noises, coughing, fuck you. I just need to get it off my chest. You're so hard to love. I am tired of trying to and I just don't have it in me anymore. My mom edited for clarification cause I just realized it sounds like a breakup, but she came into my room at midnight thinking I was asleep and said this to me in a half whisper. I still have a hole in my heart because of it. Was sleeping in a bed with my friend and the guy the first liked at the time. I got to hear her give him a blowjob while he whispered in my ear telling me to wake up. Went on for a bit before they decided to go to a different room to flock. Parents divorce. Mom and dad were about to have sex. Oh the horror, I was screaming inside. Glad mom said she was having her period. Then they were talking about divorce. They were so calm when talking about it. I woke up to a friend and her husband arguing in the next room because she'd walked in on him stroking my hair while I slept on the couch. We could do it. She wouldn't tell anyone if we took photos of her first. My roommate making out with his sister in the opposite room. Ex-boyfriend's mom absolutely tearing me apart over the phone. Never met the woman but she saw a picture of me with her son at a tailgate. She didn't like how blonde my hair was or how I smiled with a closed mouth. Needless to say I broke up soon after because her son wasn't a great person. My parents discussing what a horrible monster I am, how I have no future, and am a total and utter failure. I got a C on a report card. I was called flock meat by a girl. I bet he's not even sleeping. My mom telling my dad she had an affair with another guy and that she wanted a divorce. That was 2 months ago. There's a little bit of heroin left in that syringe if you want to try. When my college roommate came at our room for the first time I was already there for a week and I was sleeping at the time, but I heard him complaining to his mom about the space I got in the closet and overall in our room. However the next morning I very nicely asked him if had any problem about how I took advantage of the place and he told me that there was no problem. Edit. Spelling.